Back to the big news with the NBA, with the Lakers trading everybody for Russell Westbrook. There had been talk about this a couple of weeks ago. And I said at the time, I don't like this. I don't like Russ's tempo and how that would match with LeBron. He's not a good shooter. And they didn't address their biggest need, and that is shooting. They're going to have depth issues, but you got to have a shooter. And Russell Westbrook is not a good shooter. Teams are going to force Russ to shoot. They're going to say, go ahead, take these shots. Because I don't want Anthony Davis or LeBron beating me. If Russell Westbrook beats me, fine. I'm sure that something will come out where somebody will have some information that will convince me maybe otherwise. But Russ has been on 4 teams in 4 years. And there's a reason for that, because he's not the answer. Russ is a wonderful player. One of my favorite players to watch, except for when he shoots jumpers. He's a Hall of Famer. And he's going back, to Los Angeles. He played at UCLA. But I just don't like what he does and how he does it. He's a singular phenomenon. But in the team concept, I just don't see it. And I wonder if they're playing half-court basketball. How does he fit in there? He's great in transition. I just don't know. Can you be in transition with a 37-year-old LeBron James as your point guard? Now, Kuzma, I think, had to get out because he'll flourish. I do. I think that he needed to get out of L.A. for his own good. He may not realize that, but he will. He needed to get out so, okay, stop being the Laker off the court as well. Play basketball. Be great. You've shown signs that you can be a very good player. And maybe he develops into something special. But Montrezl Harrell, you're not going to miss him. I mean, maybe depth-wise, but he had one more year. Caldwell Pope, I like a lot. I do. I think he's very valuable. Undervalued. But to get Russ, I wanted Buddy Hield. Because Buddy Hield is buckets, man. And you got to have that guy who's a legitimate, lethal three-point shooter. And he's a lot younger than Russell Westbrook. But maybe you couldn't get him. Maybe the Kings said, hey, you're offering that. It's basically what they offered to the Kings for Buddy Hield. They sent that to Washington for Russell Westbrook. Yeah, McLevin.
So we were going to do the poll, who would you rather have on the Lakers, Russell Westbrook or Buddy Hield? Paulie actually has a case for Westbrook. He's the only one in the room who does.
Okay.
I'm not especially a Russell Westbrook fan or detractor, but if you look at the Lakers, one of their big issues is their 2-star players need time management. Health issues. Davis has health issues. LeBron needs time off, managed minutes. Russell Westbrook needs none of that. He rarely gets injured, and he rarely sits out. He plays the past 8 years, he's played 80 games, 81, 80 games. And then the past 2 years, he played the max number of games. He always plays a lot of minutes. Now you have an alpha dog type player who can get a lot of minutes for you during the regular season. Let's say Anthony Davis is out for 2 weeks. Russ will pick up those minutes and scoring, no problem. And if the other guys are off. I know from a basketball standpoint, it might be messy. Also, Westbrook last year, his shots were way down. He took 4 fewer shots a game than the year before in Houston, and he led the league in assists. Maybe he is morphing into a passer more than a shooter. He only scored 22 points a game last year.
Yeah, but they need shooters.
Well,
that's the problem. He might score for you.
I agree.
You still need shooters.
But they got a guy who's going to be on the floor for the entire whatever game season next year. And that's big because they miss that.
Well, it would help if Anthony Davis showed up in shape. And, the guy you have to limit the minutes is LeBron, but LeBron doesn't want to limit his minutes because he was trying to win the MVP last year. But if you're saying to Russ, just full speed ahead and, keep us in every game in the regular season, let LeBron and AD take over once we get to the postseason. Yeah, McLevin.
I was a little worried when I heard LeBron and Russ have this budding friendship. That, it gets back to that Aaron Rodgers thing. Do you want your stars bringing in their friends? I don't know that that's what happened.
I got to take emotion out of this. It's like when Aaron Rodgers was upset that the Packers got rid of some of his friends. Take emotion out of this because that's what you have to do when you're a GM, when you're a coach. You have to take emotion. Players don't take emotion out of it. They add emotion. Chris Paul, to me, would have made more sense. Kyle Lowry would have made more sense. But maybe they couldn't offer what they needed to offer for those players, or maybe they truly aren't available. Chris Paul, I think, is still looking at that 3-year extension for $100 million to stay in Phoenix. But the Lakers are still the team to beat out West, in my opinion. I think what the Lakers did it make them better? Potentially. But I think even with LeBron and AD, they would still be the favorites. I don't think Kawhi Leonard plays next season. I don't.
Hot.
Coming off that knee surgery? I don't think so. I don't know. That's not one of those, hey, you had surgery and basically in and out in one day. He got a long haul there. He's not going to play he won't play before Christmas. I mean, I just don't see that happening coming off that. And I think he will be even more tentative, conservative with that, and the Clippers probably will have to do that. Denver, does Denver scare me if I'm a Laker fan? No. Does Utah scare me? No. Does Portland scare me? No. Clippers don't scare me. Phoenix does. Phoenix, because they got a taste of it. And can you continue to rely on Chris Paul to play at a high level? So if I'm the Lakers, all right, I brought in Russ. I didn't really need to bring Russ in. I still would have liked Buddy Hield